Hi guys, happy Monday. I hope you guys are having a great day and you had a great weekend. I'm going to go over Monday morning's reading that we did this morning. We started working on determining the theme of a poem. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. So if you have your iReady book, you can go ahead and get that while I'm sharing my screen. You're going to turn to, sorry. You're going to turn to page 148, and it's going to look like this, and it's going to say the theme of a poem. So if you want to pause it, if you need to go get pen and paper, or if you want to go get your iReady book, you can go ahead and pause the video. Remember, I will be looking at your iReady books when hopefully we get back to school to see if these are done. So you need to so far have page 134 through 141 completed. We did skip a couple after that and jump to page 148, but you should have those completed. So today we're talking about page 148, and the poem is called A Fork in the Road. So we've been talking about theme for the past couple weeks, or well, at least for the past week online, but then we've also talked about it a lot in class. So we're talking about themes of poems today. So you can see at the bottom right here, it says A Fork in the Road, and it's just a short poem. So remember, we've talked about poems and how many stanzas they have in lines. So if you look at it, how many lines do they have? They have 4. And how many stanzas does it have? It has 1. Okay, so hopefully you got that correct. All right, so it says, the road down which to go, I simply do not know. How do I make up my mind when I know not what I'll find? So this morning we talked about how going down different paths in a road, and you can see here, it's giving you 2 paths. Sometimes you don't know which path you'll find, and they're not just talking about going down the road and finding something different. They're tying it in with in life. So depending on which path. So this morning we talked a little bit about if you go to college or if you don't go to college. That's 2 different roads you can go down in life. Which path is going to be best for you? And I'm sure if you were able to try both, it would be something that's totally different, and it would lead your life to 2 different things. So that's what we're talking about today, is tying in that theme with a life lesson. Okay, so it says here in the poem, the details. So it says the speaker can't decide which road to take. And that's what the poem's mostly about. It's a very short poem, but it still has a lot of meaning to the poem. Okay, so the poem is mostly about the speaker can't decide which road to take. And then it's saying in life, what would the life lesson be in that? And it says, often in life, you can't always, hold on, I have something in my way. You can't always know which is the best choice to make. So sometimes you can make a choice and maybe it wasn't the best choice. It was an okay choice, but it wasn't the best choice, and you're not always going to know which choice to make. So after you're finished writing that, if you need to pause it, go ahead and pause. You're going to go to what are the thoughts and feelings that are shared? So what does the author or the poet share with you? He shares that he is anxious because they don't know where because he doesn't know where the roads lead, right? The speaker is anxious because they don't know where the roads lead. So we don't know in this poem if the speaker is a he or she. So we're not sure. And they don't know where the roads lead. So remember, sometimes you have to dig deeper into a poem or story to get the theme. They're going to give you little hints, they're going to give you little clues, but you got to really dig deep. Is there always one right theme? No, sometimes, your theme could be close. It doesn't have to be exactly. So what would you think the theme of this little poem would be? Making decisions in life can be hard. Because here he's saying you can't always know what's the best choice. And here he's anxious. And this morning we talked about being anxious, being worried, because they don't know where the roads go. Sometimes you have to make a decision and it can be hard and you don't know where it's going to lead, but in the end, you'll find out, right? It might be hard to make that decision, but in the end, you'll find out, did you make the right one? Did you make the wrong one? But most of the time, you definitely have to make one, right? So after you finish filling all that out, we're going to go ahead and turn the page, and we're going to go to page 150, I'm sorry, 150. So it's the next page, and it's also a poem, and it ties in with the poem we just talked about, and it's called Roads. And Roads is a poem by Rachel Field, and it comes from a selection of hers from her favorite poems, Old and New. So I'm going to go ahead and read the poem to you. And it says, a road might lead to anywhere, to harbor towns and quays, or to a witch's pointed house, hidden by bristly trees. It might lead past the tailor's door, when he sews with needle and thread, or by Miss Pym, the milliners, with their hats for every head. It might be a road to a great dark cave, with treasure and gold piled high, or a road with a mountain tied to its end, blue humped against the sky. Oh, a road might lead you anywhere, to Mexico or Maine, but then it might just fool you and lead you back home again. Okay, so after reading that poem, you're going to think about the different places the author told you about that he may go. If you want to, you can go back and you can circle some of those places that the road may lead. So this morning we talked about how it can lead to harbor towns was in there. It might lead to a witch's pointed house. It could lead you to Mexico or Maine, and it could lead you back home again, right? So we're going to write over here. This time they didn't give you this one, but in the poem, what is this poem mostly about? What are they trying to tell you in the poem? They're trying to tell you that roads lead to ordinary and unusual places. So sometimes the roads are, the places you go can be ordinary, places you've been before, or they can be unusual. And then what was the life lesson in that poem? What was the life lesson the author was trying to get you to pull out by giving you clues? And the life lesson was, life leads to ordinary experiences and unusual adventures. So here it's talking about the poem being about roads leading somewhere. And when you tie in life, you can say that it leads to ordinary experiences and unusual adventures. So no matter where the roads lead, you're going to get some type of experience. And it could be an adventure, it could be just plain, and it could be ordinary, right? So what thoughts or feelings are shared in this poem? What's the author, what's he sharing with you so that you can get to the theme of the poem? And the author is sharing with you where roads lead can be a surprise. This morning we talked about how you can go down one road and it could be very surprising, or you can go down another road and maybe it's just a little surprising, or it's not a surprise at all. But in this poem, he's saying where roads lead, no matter what, can be a surprise. And then if you tie all three of these things in, what the poem's about, life's lesson in the poem, and the thoughts and feelings shared by the author, you can tie in that life can be full of surprises. And we had some other good themes this morning from students, and they talked about different themes that they got from the poem, but they kind of all tied in together, just saying life can be full of surprises. So you got life here, the roads can be a surprise, and then life can be full of surprises. So you tie all that in, and then you get your theme. Tomorrow, we're going to be going over page 152, The House by the Side of the Road, and we're going to be doing page 153 and 155 in our iReady workbook. All right, if you have any questions, you can always send them to me on ClassTag. I hope you guys have a great Monday, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.